Football can be a funny game at times, with players and managers providing moments of pure comedic gold that range from subtle to the utterly ridiculous. Consequently, here is a look at some of the funniest interviews to take place in the history of football. Number 10. Fernando Torres, David Luiz and Frank Lampard. What was supposed to be a fairly straightforward interview turned into a moment of comedy because of the man in the middle. David Luiz didn't have much to say, but let his actions do the talking as he trolled teammates Fernando Torres and Frank Lampard with a range of head nods, stares, and even a flick of Lampard's cheek before finally having his time to shine in the interview at the very end.
168th Chelsea goal.
It was an important goal and good performance in the end. I think it was a difficult game, we were struggling, and then the man got his goal, so we was all delighted with that.
From the first day I felt the support of the people, and everywhere I go I feel that, and even when we play away, all the fans going with the team.
Can we win the league? Come on, Chelsea!
Number 9. Ron Atkinson. Big Ron Atkinson was always a straight-talking manager, and Sky Sports' Richard Keys faced the wrath of the legendary boss. The result was a famous rant which ended with Atkinson throwing his headphones at the interviewer. Whoops.
Well, I don't think anybody would have to think that we deserve something from the game. I'm sorry. Yeah, if the boys hadn't done enough, I'll whip them. But I ain't whipping them for that tonight. Thank you very much, lads. See you later.
And he threw his cans like that, and Ron goes after it, because they hit one of our guys.
Number 8. Erling Haaland. The 19-year-old was asked a series of questions after the match against Schalke, which he gave one-word answers to before walking off at the earliest opportunity. It was all very strange and awkward, but it was typical of Haaland.
And the famous yellow wall, which was empty today, of course. Why did you do that?
Why not?
Is it a kind of message you want to send out?
Yes.
Would you tell us a message?
To my fans.
Our fans.
Throughout his short career, he's been making the lives of journalists very difficult indeed during post-match interviews.
How are you feeling right now?
I feel very good.
Anything else?
You asked how I feel, I answered. I didn't say that, but okay.
Sorry?
I didn't say that, you said that, but okay.
What's the secret? 17 goals now this season in 9 games.
To work hard.
Number 7. Roy Keane. In the middle of the interview, a mobile phone rang and the former Manchester United captain reacted in a way only he can, with a look of disgust that must have made the culprit scared stiff.
Nobody wants to cheat. Whose phone is that? That's the second time it's gone off. Why don't you turn it off? You're sitting there, that's the second time it's gone off. Why don't you put it on silent? No, it's not the second time. Well, why don't you turn it off?
Number 6. Thierry Henry and Arsene Wenger. For those who don't remember Thierry Henry and Robert Pires' so-called attempt at a penalty back in 2005, it was a complete disaster. But Henry saw the funny side of the incident, with the legendary former Arsenal striker literally struggling to contain his laughter whilst trying to explain the failure.
What happened? I don't know. I don't know why his leg went numb, but
Gunners manager Arsene Wenger also chimed in, saying Perez had been forever absolved of penalty duties in the squad. Fair enough.
You're laughing now. I don't think you were then.
No, I wasn't, but it's part of the game as well to make these kind of mistakes, and I think he's vaccinated now for the rest of his life to take a penalty like that. That's a positive.
Number 5. Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp was soaking in the glory after Tottenham's win over Manchester City. Quite literally.
Listen, I'm so lucky to have such a good coaching staff, Joe and Kevin, fantastic.
Whilst giving a post-match interview, the former Spurs manager was surprised by his players, who cornered him and poured water all over him. Number 4. Kevin Keegan. Evidently angered by Ferguson's mind games, Keegan went on the famous rant on Sky Sports, outlining just how much winning the league would mean to him.
But I'll tell you, you can tell him now, I'll be watching it, we're still fighting for this title. And I'll tell you, honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Number 3. Joey Barton. Easily one of the most confusingly funny moments in football. Joey Barton made the move to Marseille for a year in 2012, and he must have desired a fresh start in a new country. But he took it one step too far, and during an interview, he decided to put on a fake French accent while speaking.
As I said yesterday, I make one tackle and all everybody speak about is this tackle. Nobody speaks about Landreau would have been happy to see, you know, he didn't see the ball, never mind have a chance to save it. The one criticism of the French league is it's a little bit boring, you know. So for me, it's important that people speak about the qualities I bring as a footballer, and for me, you might as well lose 5-0 as 1-0, you know, it's still no point.
Number 2. Steve McLaren. If you thought Barton was the only culprit in the accent department, Steve McLaren is also guilty of an inexplicably poor attempt. Taking over as manager at Eredivisie side FC Twente in 2008, the former England manager sat down for an interview to outline his ambitions for his new club. Something was different, however, with McLaren opting for a Dutch accent rather than his actual one. Another one for the Comedy Hall of Fame.
Unfortunately, obviously, we all know about Blazen Kufo. The clean sheet, I call it, is one of the most important things in football. But so that is important. If we come away tomorrow with a clean sheet, we will be absolutely delighted, because we know then we'll have a result. And with Van Persie back, a very good link player now from midfield with Fabregas to Adebayor. Very dangerous team who can score goals and score goals from anything.
And finally, at number 1, Ian Holloway. The undeniable footballing king of comedy. Ian Holloway has always been known to provide comic relief in his press conferences, and continued in this vein in 2012 when he was prodded with questions regarding his player Wilfried Zaha's future at Crystal Palace. Holloway decided enough was enough with another famous rant, cementing his status as the funniest manager to grace the Premier League.
Ian, how is Zaha's ankle? Is it something that might keep him out?
He might be out for about 6 months. Stop you talking about him all the time. Get my message, do you? Yeah, I should hope so, yeah.
I can appreciate that.
He's going to be out months and months, yeah.
You're not going to give us a straight answer,
Why should I?
Well,
Why should I? I'm sick and fed up of reading about him.
Really?
Yeah. However many days and however many hours left to this stupid, pathetic window that forces people to have to do things is just not very good, is it? Why do you put speculation on things when it hasn't happened yet? If it happens, great, we'll tell you about it. In the meantime, what about the rest of my team? You'll have to deal with all of that, but, you know, if you had an accurate story, then it wouldn't be bad, would it?
I'm not getting anywhere with this, am I?
No, you're trying, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
You're trying to do your job, and I'm trying to be polite, but, you know, at the end of the day, what is speculation?